luck to you, man, he said, chuckling to himself as the first locks drifted to the floor, while everyone in the shop cast sideways glances. 40 minutes later, I was fit for the US Marine Corps, in looks at least, and I spent the next few hours enjoying the novelty of touching the back of my newly shorn head and my face. Several blocks away, the WKRG local news team were waiting for me. It was time to begin. I've always had a vivid imagination. Maybe it's a lot of a single child, or maybe it's just the way my brain works. But I always knew it might get me into trouble someday. I got into running at an early age. I was already a marathon veteran by the time I got my PhD in veterinary medicine in 2010. I relocated to Melbourne, Australia, where I came 10th overall in the IAAF gold-rated 2015 Sydney Marathon, which qualified me for the Rio Olympics and made me Australian champion to boot. For various reasons, which centred around my not really being fast enough, I wouldn't go to Rio. But a year later, everything in my life fell into place for me to fly to the US to attempt the impossible. So, of all the running stories I might have chosen to emulate, why Forrest Gump's? Well, if you're a runner who's had the pleasure of passing a gang of youths or a bar, especially if you've got long hair and, God forbid, a beard, I'd be willing to bet you've heard the shouts of, "Run, Forrest, run!" His assimilation into the perception of the world of running, despite his distinguished military career and stint as a top-level ping-pong player, is so complete that anyone who undertakes a challenge more than a few marathons long seems to be labelled as the, insert adjective or nationality here, Forrest Gump. I was 38 when I started, the same age as Tom Hanks when he filmed the movie. And while that's not young for an athlete, it's not a terrible age to attempt a long-distance run. And America had always represented magic and excitement to me. It was a country of music and film legends, of stories and adventure. Whether it was Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, or even a non-American singing about a place where the streets were nameless, I'd been inspired to dream of running through the Nevada desert, the Joshua Tree National Park, and Chicago, across the Mississippi, past Atlantic Records, Graceland, and the Big Rock Candy Mountain. I spent endless hours poring over previous crossings and possible routes, studying the weather in different states at different times of the year, wondering whether I could actually hack it. Forrest says in the movie that he ran for 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours. Many commentators have argued that his achievement was not physically possible, that the human body could simply not withstand the daily grind of running such distances for so long. Then one day, I came across a book by a British chap named Nick Baldock, who had run from San Francisco to New York in 1999. He described the epic scale and beauty of the country in a way that utterly captivated me. I was hooked. I emailed him 10 years after his feat, in May 2009, with the subject field, Forrest Gump 2, and he replied with some advice. Funding was, apart from the running itself, the single biggest challenge. I gave myself a good 12 to 14 months to prepare, both financially and fitness-wise. You, no doubt, are younger and fitter, so that may not be the case with you. Rob, it is a wonderful thing to do. I could never tell you just how hard it was, but equally, it was truly a life-changing experience for 132 days for me. The best way to see America. Duly inspired, but duly warned, Nadine and I worked our butts off in the veterinary surgery, pooling together enough savings to keep us going for as long as possible. In terms of the physical preparation, I knew I was a half-decent runner, but this was the complete unknown. I couldn't even call myself a true ultra-runner, the title reserved for those who had gone beyond the marathon distance. But a couple of months before I was due to depart for the Forest Run, I entered the Runstock Ultra with a friend from Australia, Flynn Hargreaves. I clocked up 75 kilometres.